Hi, graphic designers. Hope you're doing well and everything is, as good as it can be under the circumstances. So there is a video attached that shows you how to do the assignment, but it's a professional graphic designer and she goes really fast and makes a lot of assumptions about your background knowledge. So yeah, my cat's here. There she is. All right, she wants to be part of this video. So I just thought I would go over what I'm looking for this week from you and give you kind of a better idea of how to do them and some techniques. So it's a two-part assignment. The first part are called squint exercises. So the idea is you're going to choose somebody else's graphic design. Now, I'm surrounded by books and posters, so I'm going to be showing you examples using those today. But you can look outside, and if you see a delivery truck, that's going to have a logo on it. Or you can go into your kitchen and look at packaging on food. Graphic design is all around you, and it's not too hard to find examples. So the squint exercise, what it allows you to do is look at layout and visual hierarchy. So you're looking at other people's designs, and if I tilt my camera this way, you can see that there's a really famous example of graphic design right behind me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just squint at it. So I'm not paying attention to what it says, which I can't read anyway because it's in Russian. I can just pay attention to the general shapes of the objects. So what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to just use a regular piece of paper for this because I don't have tracing paper or anything fancy at home, and just a regular pencil. And I'm going to just sort of squint. I don't know how well you can see this. And it's going to be super weird looking because I'm drawing it on an angle. But I'm going to just sort of squint at this and try and get the main shapes across. So I've got kind of a rectangle within a rectangle, and a circle, and a triangle. And squinting means that I'm not concentrating on any kind of detail. So this is my squint drawing that I did at an angle. It looks just as awesome in person, let me tell you. And you can do this for any piece of graphic design. So I'm gonna look at one of my favorite comic books of all time, Persepolis. And that's like a really, really simple sort of layout here. And I get to just kind of, again, try and show you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So hopefully you can see that. So for the squint exercises, I'm not looking for tons of detail. You just sort of want to get the rough idea of what the layout looks like. So that's number one. Number two is trickier, and this one's probably going to take you more time. You're going to be looking at visual hierarchy. And so she shows you some great examples in the video. Check those out. There's also a blog post where she breaks down all of her different variations. But with visual hierarchy, you're looking for where does your eye go first, where does your eye go second, and where does your eye go third. So if we take Persepolis again as an example, it's a very simple looking layout, but it's doing a number of things to direct your eye. So the first thing that if you're creating a book, you want your eye to go to is the title. And again, if you squint, that title is going to look really big and very bright compared to everything else. So you've got this lovely red background, and then you've got the thing that has the most contrast is this type here. And because that's very contrasting, like the black and the red don't have tons of contrast, the blue and the red don't have tons of contrast, the white really pops out. So that's going to draw your eye first, and that's where you want your eye to go first because that's the title. So it's up on top, it's big, it's got the most contrast. Then probably the next place your eye is going to go is this lovely little graphic. A couple things are doing that. So again, we've got the white, it's really popping out at you. It's centered, so again, your eye is going to read top down. And then you've got, your pop of color with the blue, and you've got somebody's face. So we're focusing in, usually we look for faces, we look for eyes when we're looking at images. So we're going to look at her probably straight in her eyes, and that's going to be the second area of focus. And then your third area of focus is going to be the author's name at the bottom. A little bit smaller than the title text, but bigger than the subtext. And again, it's in a very contrasting color. So then your eye starts to pick out all of the little details and like this lovely Persian ornamentation. And I love this comic. If you haven't read it, please read it. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a composition where you've got 3 levels of visual hierarchy. So whatever you're doing, the biggest thing, the most central thing is where your eye is going to go first. Then your eye is going to go somewhere else next. Then your eye is going to go somewhere else third. And so what you're creating does not need to make sense. I want you to look at some of the typography and the shapes around you. So I've got these lovely RR, these big kind of lead type for my initials. And so if I wanted that to be my central focus, I'm going to just tilt this down for a second. Can you see? Oh, you can see. Okay. All right. So maybe this is my central focus. And I'm going to tilt it back up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trace that, put them pretty close to the middle of my page. And so you can see this is what I want the person to look at first. And then maybe I will find some other text that I like. So let's find something that is a big pile of books here. A little bit larger, but not as big as my first text. And I'm going to just trace that really quick. And she says in the video, and this is true, doesn't need to be text that has any kind of relationship with each other, your words. So don't think about the meaning necessarily. Just grab yourself some random text and have at it. You can also use like shapes, graphics, that kind of thing. So there's my second one from the title of the book. So in this case, it's just not very transparent. So I'm going to try and eyeball it and hope for the best. All right. I'm kind of out of practice eyeballing typography. So this one's kind of, I don't know how well you can see this. It's got some really beautiful hand-drawn lettering. Also a really fun comic. So, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. This is just an exercise, but you're looking for contrast in terms of scale and position, that kind of thing. Okay. So there is my visual hierarchy composition. So you can see when you're looking at this that it's actually Ghost that stands out the most because I did it, you know, not tracing. So I went a little bit heavier with the pencil. So when you've got your type kind of set up on your page and you want to make sure that you're really drawing your attention to something, you can then go over the lines. And in this case, I did want my R to stand out the most. So I'm going to just go over it again with my pencil a little bit heavier and make sure with some shading that this is really going to be the focus. And now you can see your eye hopefully goes to the R before it goes to the Ghost. So you're going to just play around with shading, visual weighting, and create your composition that way. All right, so That's the assignment. It's a little bit theoretical and technical, but these are some really good exercises to do to get your head around the idea of visual hierarchy and composition. All right, so you'll notice that there's a sign-in sheet this week. Please put your initials down when you log in so that I know who's actually seeing these things. And you can always email me or text me on Google Hangouts if you have questions or concerns or anything like that. All right, have a great week. Good luck.